Hey guys, I'm here and I'm going to bitch a little bit. Today it's raining outside. I wanted to do this video outside, but the weather's just not cooperating with me. But today I want to talk about me time. Is that a bad thing? Now, I'm up here in Dumaguete. I've been here over 3 years, and maybe the Bureau of Immigration has it right. After 3 years, if you're on a tourist visa, you should leave the country. Are we starting to get the itch after 3 years? Are we tired of being in the same place for too long? Do I need a break? I've been yelling at the kids for playing on the grass. I've been yelling at the dogs. I've been yelling at a lot of people lately. Is it because anxiety is building up? Frustration is building up? What can be the reasons an old man living in the Philippines, living a good life, having a nice wife, having a nice place to live, having plenty of money? Money is not an object. And my relationship is good at this time. But why is it that I feel like I need a vacation? I need to get out of here. I feel like I need to go somewhere for a couple of weeks. I really don't want to go travel over to Thailand or Vietnam or something, travel out of the country, but maybe I'm in need of a 2-week vacation. Maybe I need to be pampered a little bit. Maybe I want to go stay at a nice resort and just me, get a massage every morning, get a nice breakfast, swim in the pool, swim in the ocean, have a little relaxed time by myself. Now, back when I was younger and I was married, I would always take a long vacation once a year. That'd be, if work let me 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I would go down to Lake Kentucky when I was living in Ohio, go camping, go fishing for, 10 days, 2 weeks, and then spend some time with the family. But I would go by myself. As I got older, I would take a plane and go to Las Vegas for a long weekend every now and then. Whenever the pressure started to build up, I was getting antsy. I needed a break. I needed to refresh myself, reboot my life. And working on that hamster wheel back in the US all the time, you needed those vacations. You needed those getaways. Well, now I'm here in the Philippines. The first week, first month I was here was my relaxing time. That was my stress relief time when I first got here. And I was staying in Behold and I was walking on the beach. I had no responsibility. I had rent to pay and a few minor bills, nothing, no stress whatsoever. Leaving work behind, giving up the daily grind of working. Like I told you many times, I remember taking photos and a video walking the beach and sending it to my former coworkers. And every one of them would say, Mike, you're living in paradise. You're living the life. Well, I moved off the beach. I came to Dumaguete. I met Janet. We started living together. Eventually, we got married, and now we're living here just outside Valencia. And we're having a good life here. I'm having a very relaxing, peaceful life. No hamster wheel here, except recently. It starts to feel like I'm back on a hamster wheel. I have responsibilities. I have to deal with a teenager, and they're similar to the teenagers back home. They're in their room, playing on their phone, playing on their tablet, playing video games, talking to their friends. You have to yell twice when you need something. When dinner's ready, you got to remind them 2 times dinner's ready. Same thing with the wife. There's certain things I like in life, certain way I like my dinner cooked or my lunch made or my clothes folded, whatever those little peculiar habits. Now I catch myself having to remind her more than one time. Is complacency setting in? Are we getting stuck in our own little hamster wheel? Even though she's much younger than me, Janet's 38 years younger than me, and she's full of life, and she is a breath of fresh air. But her life is different than my life at times. Sometimes she likes to go wandering, wants to go window shopping, not spending money, nothing about Janet, but I'm just saying her lifestyle is a little bit different than what my lifestyle is. I'm up hours and hours earlier than her. She gets up at 6, 7. Me, I'm up at 3, 4, or 5. Yes, she gets up, helps me with the coffee. So I have a fresh pot of coffee and helps me settle in the morning here with my business. But it's starting to become a grind. It's starting to become the hamster wheel. Retirement. When you're fully retired, do you picture yourself sitting on a beach? Do you picture yourself in a rocking chair and just rocking back and forth? watching the day go by, or are you still active? I surprised myself at how active I am at 71. Just the other day, I got a sunburn on my nose and on my chest and on my arms from taking a motorcycle ride. I left here like 10 in the morning and I rode north. I went all the way up to Tanjai and turned around and came back. And on my way back, I went up the mountain in Subalan, up to Twin Lakes, and then went home. Before I got home, I went up to Valencia and I went up to the Smoky Mountains and along the river, doing a long joyride, getting out of the house, trying to do something different, and only with myself. Didn't have any company, just me and my thoughts. And has it come down to the point that I need a vacation from my retirement? Do I need 2 weeks to get away, a month to get away? And what I'm doing sitting here, prior to doing this video, I'm thinking, where can I go for 2 weeks? Where can I go for a nice getaway by myself and recharge my batteries? Where would you go? A lot of guys, they always throw right away, go to Thailand, go to Vietnam, go travel the world. Well, I don't want to travel outside the country. I don't want to deal with the airports and all that. I want to go somewhere in the Philippines. Going back up to Cebu is always an option, but the thing with going to Cebu is you're going to Cebu City and you're going to the mall. You're going to be hanging out at an Ayala Mall every day or at IT Park. You're going to be meeting other bloggers, other friends that you've had before. I need a break. I want something different. So if any of you guys have been anywhere in the Philippines that is a little bit different, I've been to Lona Beach. I've been, like I said, Angeles City. I've been to Iloilo. Not really thrilled with the thought of going down to Davao. I don't really want another big city, but is there a smaller, middle-sized city, 150,000 people, 200,000 people, maybe less, where I can go and recharge myself? It doesn't have to have beach. It can be mountains. I prefer mountains over beaches, but I need a vacation from my daily grind here. And like I said, when I was younger, I'd get on a plane and go to Las Vegas for a long weekend. My favorite weekend was Thanksgiving weekend. We had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I took a vacation day on Wednesday and Monday, so I would fly out on Wednesday, arrive back Monday morning and be rejuvenated and ready to go back to work, ready to start life over again, totally recharged. And I remember all those trips I've taken to go fishing, those long fishing weekends, or that 10 days when I'd go down to Lake Kentucky. I'd rent a cabin, and I'd rent a little bass boat, a tracker bass boat, and go fishing and just relax. Who cares if you caught anything? But I was able to recharge. Here in the Philippines, once you become a resident somewhere, you're not here as a 2-week millionaire. You're not here on a vacation or only here for like 5-6 months, less than a year. But if you're living here, after a period of time, do you need a break? Do you need a break from living in the Philippines, dealing with the bureaucracy here, the red tape every day, buying this property? What a hassle it is buying this property. Nobody's doing anything wrong. The sellers aren't doing anything wrong. The lawyer's not doing anything wrong. I'm definitely not doing nothing wrong. You know me, everything I do is always correct, but it just takes so much time. We've been in this process now for 6-7 months, and finally we had somebody from the government show up to visually look at the property, make sure that we had access roads, make sure everything was right, telling us, how big of septic we have to have on the property, a visual inspection of the property that we were subdividing into our little space. 7-8 months to get to that point. Still waiting on the building permit. Yes, I'm behind the 8 ball. I haven't hurried up to do the building permit, but it's something that has to be done, and it could take some time. And there's getting the power. Janet has to go down and sit in a class for 8 hours to be able to get a meter onto the property so you can have electricity, and finding a builder. Now, we found a builder. I think the builder's capable. The price is right. But we still, in the negotiating phase, we still have to go see a lawyer. We still have to do the contract. everything just takes so long. And it's been since the first part of May when we had a handshake agreement on what we were going to do. But he insisted on a written contract with the lawyer, and so did I. So now we have to wait for that all to get done, get a contract written up, get the terms and all the agreements. Everything's taking forever. You wake up in the morning, you say, man, I'm going to get something done today. And you don't. You know, you go down to one of these government offices and you sit there all day. So all this is starting to build on me, being a lot of stress and pressure dealing with the local bureaucracy here. And I really don't have to deal with it. I could let Janet handle everything here, but it's starting to get to me. Other expats, the little things they say are starting to bother me. People making, comments that I know they're joking, but you hear the same joke over and over and over again. It gets pretty obnoxious, especially when they're trying to have you be the joke. They're trying to use you as the punchline. And sometimes this really starts to grind on me. And I need to get away from it. Now, YouTube is not my problem. People are going to say, well, you have a job, you have YouTube, and you're working hard at it. Well, I work at it because it gives me something to do. What would I be doing if I wasn't making this video right this minute? It's raining outside. Janet's down at a parade with her son. They're doing a parade for the school, Founders Day parade. I'm not going to go stand in the rain and watch a parade. I'm sitting in front of the TV. I'm watching Daniel Negreanu's blogs on poker, the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. I'm looking at some fishing YouTubes from Arizona and Nevada where I used to fish. And, it's sort of like giving me this idea of, man, I need to do something. And all those vacations that I had in Las Vegas and fishing and the 25 years I lived in Vegas, even then, as exciting as the city is of Las Vegas, I still had to get out of town once in a while. I would take a ride down to San Diego, or I would go out into the desert and fish, or I would do something, take a ride up to Salt Lake City, do something to get away from the daily grind. You can't just sit in front of a slot machine, go to the casinos all the time. You think it's a lot of fun and excitement. It is fun. It is exciting, but it's something you can't do every day. And that's the same thing here in the Philippines. You're doing the same thing every day. And I don't care if you have a beautiful house on the beach, you're walking that same beach every day. The only difference is, where is the tide when you take that walk? Is it a low tide? Is it a high tide? That's the only difference on your walk. Do you need to get away from your daily grind and do something different for a week? Going on vacation, is that such a bad thing for me to think I need 10 days away, 2 weeks away from my family and where I live, and go somewhere and just relax? I think it's the perfect thing to do at this time. I think I'm going to do it first week of August. Guys, leave a comment down below. Tell me where you think I should go here in the Philippines. And don't just say a city. Say a city and give me a reason. Beautiful beach, beautiful mountain. If it's a resort, give me a reason for that resort. Great view, great food, great price, great people, whatever it is. And if you're in disagreement, if you think the pressure is I put on myself, working the YouTube, working on the property, trying to hurry up and build something, maintaining a married life with a young man in the house, is this what's getting to me? And I got to do it again. Kids, get off the lawn. I'm starting to become that old man that would sit on his porch back in Ohio, the kids coming home from school, and he would yell at them, get off my lawn, stay off my lawn, and yell at the dogs for barking too much. And that's the dog's job, is to bark when there's someone at the gate or somebody comes into the yard or there's a critter in the yard. That's their job. And I'm yelling at them for that. So I need a break. I'm turning into that grouchy old man. I'm 71 years old. I'm allowed to be a little grouchy. But man, I think going away for a couple of weeks could calm me down and carve out a better start to the rest of the year. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment down below, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to me bitch a little bit.